here broadcasting through Be Live TV and into Facebook land. How you doing? Soul Connections is all about you connecting with your soul and what your soul has to say and how to do healing on yourself. I guide you through self-healing, and your spiritual team helps you out. Because right now it's an important time for all of us to do our own work. And for those of us who are light workers, we're so busy helping everyone else that we sometimes don't take the time to take care of ourselves. So this is a way for you to join in every week and do your own work. And you can always click on the recording anytime you need it if you need a little TLC. So thanks for joining us. And I want to kind of put out there, for those of you who are here, the drill. The way we help more people and help the planet is by spreading the news. So if you could like and share the broadcast, that helps us get to somebody who might need it. And you can do it through Messenger to some people that you know. Like I sent some links early to a couple people who wanted to be able to connect. And that's something that you could do, or share it through your page or to a group that maybe a group of light workers who could really use some healing for themselves. Whatever would be extremely helpful. So thank you guys. And after we do the healing, I will be pulling cards, divine messages. For people who would like a card, all you have to do is say yes, please, and I will pull them in the order that we receive them in the production studio, which might not look anything like your news feed because everybody's coming from different sources to all gather together here. So tonight's deck is the Sacred Oracle deck. This is Tony Carmen Salerno with Leela Williams. And the Sacred Earth Oracle just felt important because of all the planetary changes that are going on. It seemed like, what did the Earth want to share with us, to tell us the wisdom it might have? And Grandmother Earth has been here a while. She's seen quite a lot, and maybe she's got some words of wisdom for us to help us through our next week. Or longer, depending on the card. So that was what wanted to get used tonight. I always ask the cards before the show who wants to come play with us. And the Sacred Earth Oracle is the one that lit up for us. So thank you for that. And then for those of you who know, I have been sharing some of my healing remedies, the Trinity Healing Blends. And this week, it's been clear that people are trying to find some alternatives to their regular things that they carry in their medicine cabinet. Because, we're hearing things like maybe we shouldn't be using ibuprofen or NSAIDs quite the same way, just in case of the virus. So what do we do? Because that's what we've been using. So this week's package is the Natural Medicine Cabinet. And I will put the link in the comments after. I didn't think to do it before, so I'm sorry about that. But it is on my Chakra Sessions page in case you need to find it. But it is a blend, one for headaches, one for sleep, one for allergies, and one for injuries. Because we're still getting bumps and bruises, even if we're just staying inside. Because maybe we're bumping in and stubbing our toe or something like that. But we're still having some of that happen. And anything that might have a little inflammation in it, your joints or, your shoulders, your knees, your back, if you're having trouble, you can use the injury blend on that as well. And so the special is the 4 blends for $45, which includes shipping. And normally it's $100. So you guys are doing great. So if that's something that interests you, that link will be available after the show. So thanks, guys. So we've got quite a few people already in the house. So I think I'm going to get started. I always feel like there's this need to get the healing work started so that we can get to the messages, because sometimes that's really important for people to hear. Just hear a little reinforcement of what their intuition's been telling them. So we're going to start by grounding, and I'm inviting you to take a couple of really big, deep breaths, and let's just get into this moment, because when we get anxious and nervous, we get projected into the future, and it makes it really difficult for us to kind of center and ground. So take a couple big clearing breaths. And when you blow out, feel free to make noise, because sometimes the release of sound is therapeutic for us. So breathe in again. Good. And just take a moment to center and feel into your heart. Notice your heart beating, or notice your breath going in and out of your lungs. And if you've been having any trouble with anxiety or feeling nervous, frustrated, or agitated, really focus on that breath and make sure that you're breathing deep down into your belly, using the whole lung. And sometimes we get breathing very shallow and don't even notice. And as we're beginning, we're going to invite in the divine to connect to us and through us, setting the intention that the healing work done and the messages received and delivered are for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. And we're going to ask the divine to surround and protect us in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light, creating a sacred space right around us for this healing work to be done. And welcome in our spiritual team, our angels, our guides, our ancestors, the star beings, our animal totems, all divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration and frequency available to us in each and every dimension. And we're going to begin by grounding our energy, grounding our heart, and connecting our heart to the heart of Grandmother Earth, right to the center of the earth. So just imagine a cord of connection from our heart to hers, and inviting that heart cord to go through our lower chakras to anchor and ground them as well. Going from our heart through our solar plexus below our ribs, connecting and grounding. And then down through our sacral chakra right below our navel, grounding and connecting. And down through our root chakra below our tailbone, grounding and connecting. And going down each leg and through the bottom of each foot, all the way to the center, the heartbeat of Grandmother Earth, that molten lava center, so that the blood flow and the energy flow of each heart and each heartbeat connects, comes into rhythm, comes into harmony, into balance. And we're going to invite that cord of connection to expand. Gently widening like a giant tube or cylinder of love and light, so that energy can flow to us and through us with ease and grace. And we're going to connect another cord from our heart all the way up to the divine, up to the center of the galaxy, of the universe, of all that is, to the divine masculine, to the place where our soul was first created, first perceived, and inviting our heart to meet the heart of the center of all that is, creating a cord of connection going through our upper chakras, to connect all the way to the center. And feeling the cord going from the heart through the throat, grounding and centering. From the throat through the third eye in our forehead. Connecting and centering. From our third eye to the crown. Connecting and centering. And from the crown through our higher self, through the layers of the ozone, past stars and galaxies, to the very center of all that is. Inviting that cord of connection to gently expand into a cylinder or a tube, so the divine energy can flow to us and through us, gathering within our heart, connecting with the divine feminine energy, filling our heart with harmony and balance, surrounding and protecting our inner child, so that it can feel safe, calm, and loved in this moment. And beginning at our crown and just gently clearing away any energy that is blocking our full spiritual connection. Any doubt, any worry, any spinning thoughts, And as the energy begins to move down through the third eye, clearing away the fog, anything that is making it difficult to focus, to perceive things clearly, any difficulty we are having connecting with our spiritual team or to our own intuition. And physically clearing any pressure or headaches or dizziness that we've had, lack of sleep, and opening the pathways of communication so that we can hear and see and notice all the ways that our team is here connecting to us and reminding us all the ways that we can ask for help from our spiritual team. Ask for guidance, clarity, and then opening and expanding the energy in the throat. Releasing all the words that have been uttered in anger and frustration, whether given or received. Any energy that is blocking our creativity and our self-expression. So that we have a clear path to speak our authentic truth. Releasing the stress and the tension that we've been holding in the back of our neck, the top of our shoulders. Any burdens and responsibilities that we've been carrying there for ourselves, for our families, for our friends, and our work. Also releasing all the energy of should, all the things we should do and who we should be. The weight of trying to live up to those expectations that we have created or that others have created for ourselves. And just in this moment, allowing it to release and drop off of us, knowing that we can pick those responsibilities up when we're done, but they are not needed in this particular moment. And opening up the bronchial tubes to function fully and completely. Opening our heart and our lungs to breathe freely and easily. Amplifying our immune system so that it is functioning at its fullest potential. Releasing any sadness, grief, disappointment that we may be carrying. Any heavy, dense feelings that we are holding for ourselves or that we've picked up from others. Making room for our empathy and compassion to flow inward and outward, brightening the energy in the heart so it matches our high heart more closely in vibration and frequency. And moving into our solar plexus and being gentle with ourselves. Gentle with our anxiety, our stress, our worry. Gentle with our frustration, our resentment, our judgment of others, of ourselves, of situations. Even gentle with the anger or the fear that may have gathered within our belly. Noticing, inviting the release through love and compassion. Honoring all of our feelings as necessary. But releasing any that we do not need to feel and experience in this exact moment for our highest best. And moving down into the sacral chakra below the belly button. And returning our energy system into balance, into flow, into harmony in our physical body, in our emotional body, in our mental thoughts, even in our spiritual connection with the divine, with others. Bringing the energy of giving and receiving back into a balanced rhythm. Releasing any addiction energy that we may be holding on to, whether it is ours, our families, societies, even the planets. Maybe releasing our addiction to suffering or things being difficult. Then opening the possibility of joy and love. Being our connection. And then moving the energy through each hip, opening our circuit of creation. And then rooting it grounding it within our root chakra below our tailbone, and releasing any additional fear that you may be holding on to, any wobbly energy you are having about your home, your job, your food, your safety. Any fears you may have of there not being enough of anything. Now allowing all the energy that we have chosen to release to go down each of our legs, down through the bottom of our feet. And as it begins to break apart and dissolve into the very center of the divine heartbeat of Grandmother Earth. And all that was willing to release, allowing the divine feminine energy to flow up and fill in all those nooks and crannies with brand new possibilities. Through our feet and our ankles, through our calves and our knees, through our thighs and our hips, through our pelvic floor, through our torso and all our organs, including our spine, through our ribs and our heart and our lungs, our arms, our shoulders, our neck, our head, all the way to the top of the crown and beyond. And inviting that energy to move outward through each layer of our aura, restoring and repairing any places where there may be tears or holes. Creating a nice, strong force field for our immune system. Stronger personal bubble. And even sending healing out through our karma. And beyond. And taking a moment of gratitude to send healing to the entire earth plane, all of humanity. Bringing strength, resilience, and unity. And to all the food and the plants and the animals sharing this space with us and the water. And also creating unity. And thanking our spiritual team for being present and helping us, guiding us through this meditation. Helping us to find what needed release or wanted release. And now gently return your energy and your focus to your heart, taking a deep breath. Blowing out. Bringing your awareness gently back to your physical body. Noticing your arms and your legs and the weight of them. Feeling the clothes on your body. Hearing the noises around you. Sensing the light. And you can wiggle your fingers or your toes and stretch, yawn, whatever you need to get us back into this present moment. I'm going to have a quick sip. Nice. Well, I hope that was good for you. Felt lovely to me. So tonight's cards, for those of you who missed it earlier, it's the Sacred Oracle deck by Tony Carmen Salerno and Leela Williams. This called to me today because of all the grandmother earth energy that is going on the planet. It vibrated and asked to be shared, the messages from here to be shared, which I thought was great. And I just wanted to let people know too, a lot of us are at home or we're isolated, and I do have a workshop that's coming up on Star Nations. On the 23rd of April, I will be doing an online class. It's all about multidimensional manifesting in your inner child and how they work together. So what my team has been talking about is creative consciousness. And really we're moving into a phase of creative consciousness. And so if that's something that you are interested in, beginning to create your own reality rather than feeling the need to be stuck with the one you see around you at the moment, go to starnations.org and join us, our Star Nations Academy. And I'd love to have you. And we had two wonderful teachers, Ed Langen and Maureen Mann, already did two fantastic workshops if you missed them. They're all part of the same package, the same grouping. And Neshi will be giving us another one in May, and I'm looking forward to that as well. So if that interests you, join us for that. Because for me, my class has already shifted from what it was going to be in January to what it is now. There's a lot of different stuff. So there you have it. So I'm going to begin with the cards. And the first one is for Ellen Bartos. So your card, my dear, is the Shift card. And the Shift card is that right now, this is so true for so many of us, right? That everything is shifting around us. We can try to stay still, but everything is moving. And so as part of this energy, do you go with the flow or do you resist and try to keep things the same? And so this is inviting you to create this shift energy within you, shifting your perspective, shifting your possibilities, opening doorways, gateways to new ideas and new ways of thinking, new ways of being, and new ways of living. So this is a big shift for our planet. And, I'm seeing you almost feeling like it's an earthquake beneath you. And it really is. So rather than holding on to the focus of this is happening to me or this is happening to the planet, think of it as happening for me. And it's happening for the planet because it's making room for some amazing change to come in. It's not the end of things, it's the beginning, right? So shifting that perspective. All right, Rob, glad to see you made it. So your card is the specialization card. Notice the sacred geometry around her. Just inviting that in. So the specialization card it comes in when we've been dabbling in a lot of different things. And so what I'm feeling is, you've obtained a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things, but how are you applying it? How are you narrowing your focus? So the specialization is kind of like when we first choose a major, we're in college and we have to take all these general, education requirements. And then it's like, okay, but now you want to hone in on your major. And then once you hone in on the major, then you even hone in on something even more detailed. So say that you chose music as a major, then it's like, you might pick an instrument as the pathway, or you might pick whether you're going to be an artist or a composer. And so it's like, how do you hone in? And so that's happening for you right now. Your team is inviting you to narrow your focus. It also reminds me of those times when we're asked to do research papers in high school or in upper education. And so if we picked a topic that was too general, you kind of wrote about a lot of little things, but you didn't give anything juicy. When we specialize, we get into the juice of something. We really get into the nitty-gritty, and that's what the divine energy is asking for you to like hone in on that nitty-gritty, because you've had a very big I'm seeing like, okay, I'm focused on every type of spirituality. And now it's like, okay, but which one sings to your heart? Which one calls to you? And really dive into the nuances. It doesn't mean you aren't pulling pieces from other things, but it's like, gather it together and use it, because we can shoot a laser beam that's wide, but it doesn't go very far if it's wide. When it's narrow, it can go farther and deeper, and more completely, hit the target. A lot of euphemisms and all sorts of stuff in there, Rob. So have fun with that. All right. Jackie. So your card, my dear, is discernment. Notice she's kind of contemplating and thinking, the discernment card for me is when we have that introspection time, right? We've all got a lot of thinking time going on right now, but it's finding the clarity. What I'm sensing is like, what's true for you? Is this still true for me? Is this what I really want? You could have wanted it 6 months ago, and now with everything that shift, it's not bringing you joy. It's not the happy thing. And so this is time to kind of really take a look, almost analyze things as they're coming to you and coming through you, and go, okay, this one I want, and this one I'm going to throw away, and this one I want, and this I'm going to throw away. Just like you would with cleaning your closet. It's like you're cleaning your spiritual closet. You are looking for what's important for you now. And don't be worried about letting go of something that was important to you. Like I said, 6 months ago, we're all growing, we're all shifting, we're all changing. And so our perspective is getting knocked upside down. And as part of that, now we get to look at things differently and really choose from our heart space, not from our logic brain. So this is like, discern with your heart. Is this true for me? Is this mine? Is this for my highest benefit? Ask those kind of questions as you're mulling your way through things in the next week. Okay? All right, Lynn. So your card is the influence card. Notice all the moons on the top because we are in the full moon energy right now. And so the influence energy is that you're really being influenced by a lot of planetary energy. You're probably picking up empathically a lot that's going on. Many of us are, right? It's hard not to. It's hard not to pick up because there's a global fight, flight, freeze response going on, and it's hard to not go into it. And even when we do, there's moments when we get tired or stressed and we slide in and we don't realize it. But we're also influenced by the moon and its cycles and how we respond. Some people do really well in the full moon and they're filled with energy and lots of ideas and whatnot. And then other people are filled up in the new moon energy. So notice what things are working for you, what things aren't working for you. Don't make assumptions based on what other people say, right? Because we're not all the same. And maybe even just pay attention. Here we are in the full moon. Pay attention to your energy from this full moon to the next. And just keep a daily note of how your energy was for the day, how your emotions were for the day, and let that knowledge work with you so that you can fall into the rhythm of the planet and the planetary pulls and the and how that works for you. It makes a lot of sense if you take a look at it. I've done that in the past and it really has helped. So I would give that a shot. All right. So Anne, so your card, my dear, is the perspective card. Notice how she's way off from the earth. There's some more sacred geometry in this as well. So in this perspective, it's when we're in the muck of it, we feel overwhelmed. We feel stuck. We feel like there's nothing we can do. When we pull our energy back so that we're taking it from a global perspective, or if we were standing on the moon and looking down at it, would it have the same importance? Would it have the same significance? I'm sort of seeing this native energy of like you become the bird and you're flying over and you're seeing it. And then when you're out of it, it's different. It's that detachment that we sometimes have trouble. We get caught in it and then we freeze and we just are unable to take action. And so it's getting that separation between you and the situation or you and the circumstances, because we aren't our circumstances. We're not our trauma. We're not our circumstances. We're a being, right? And all of those things are external. And when we can get that separation, then we have room to breathe, and then we can connect more deeply to our intuition and use that to create new change. But when we're caught, then we have difficulty. So it's just getting a little space so that you can have some perspective. Okay. All right. Kate. Hi, dear. Nice to have you. So yours is the preservation card. And it's so interesting, when I do these cards in person, some people freak out because the first thing they see is the skeleton. But notice that the skeleton is protecting this child that's about to be birthed, right? So this card comes in because some stuff is shedding, dying, right? But in that death, there is new birth. And so what is the best thing? Like, we're in this space right now where we can choose what are the best things that we love about our life and love about ourselves, and we can keep those. We can preserve those, and we can release and let die everything else that we don't like and we don't like. And so we can kind of put a cocoon on around our inner child. We can put a cocoon around the things that really bring us the most joy and go, okay, I'm saving these, and everything else I'm willing to let go. So rather than focusing on what's being let go or what's dying or what's falling off, hold on to the energy of what you are choosing and what you are saving, right? And keep things that are close to your heart, because those are the things that will want to stay and breathe that into new life, right? Nice. That's good for all of us. Thank you, dear. All right, Doreen, welcome to the show. Of course you can have a card. So your card, my dear, is the stretch card. I love this. It's like she's got roots going out. She's growing trees and everything in every different direction, right? And so this is energetically, I'm seeing like you, and you're sending out like hundreds of webs, like, and grandmother spider, when she sends out she spins her web, right? She spins it all out and then she waits, because the things will come to her, right? So this is a little bit like that. It's inviting you to really stretch your perception of who you are, because the more full you're able to go into all the possible things that are you, then the more likely the things that you want will come to you, will hit you, as it were. When we play small, we're only giving the divine a small target, right? So when we're willing to stretch and try new things, we're giving the divine a bigger target to hit, with what we're asking for, what we're manifesting, what we want to create. And a lot of this it's brand new energy that's going on. And so as that new energy is coming in, it's like we've all been stuck in the uncomfortable familiar, right? But it's been uncomfortable. And now we can stretch into, all right, it's unfamiliar, but that doesn't mean it has to be uncomfortable anymore. And so stepping out of our comfort zone might be the most wonderfully comfortable thing that we do. Because then we step into a bigger box. We have more room to breathe. We can stretch. We don't feel so squashed by our job, by our work, by our other people's expectations, whatever it is. So really take some time in the next couple of weeks to push out those boundaries of who you've been and push into who you could be and who you want to be. Nice. All right. Margaret. All right. So your card, my dear, is the magnetism card. Woohoo! Start turning on that magnet. We manifest as a magnet. So what we want to create, what we want to come into our life, all we have to do is become a vibrational match. So how do you become the magnet? By holding intention and by focusing your attention on that intention of what you want to create. And the more we have joy attached to it, the more fun we have with it, the faster it comes to us. So use that joy and that charm and that whimsy to bring to you what you are looking for or what you would like to create. think about creating a game of it. Let your inner child have play, and then things will come even faster. And you have a magnetic personality already. You just need to shine the light in the direction that you want to. Think of you are a spotlight, and what do you want to shine it on? And then that will become the focus and what will come to you. All right. Nice. Enjoy that. All right, Minnie. So your card, my dear, is the context card. And notice the dragonfly at her throat, and that she's wearing this crown, this natural twig crown. That feels very important for you. So right now there's a lot of things that are swirling. And so what I'm feeling about that is that in the swirling, the more grounded you get, the more you understand the swirling energy, right? And for you in particular, it's about coming into nature. So as things are happening, what I'm sensing is, as people are saying things or doing things, we don't know right now what context that's coming in. So people are sharing, one line or two lines about a particular subject because they just read 6 articles, and we don't know the information they read in the 6 articles. And so they make a comment, and then we take the comment in our context of what we've been doing, and it doesn't match, and then we argue. So make sure that if something feels uncertain, if it feels ungrounded, if it doesn't seem quite right, that you ask for clarity, that you ask for context. And if you feel like somebody is taking what you said the wrong way, then create the context for what was said so that the person can understand. Because right now in this energy, we're being invited to have clearer perception, which involves clearer communication. And so a lot of that is being invited not to be in text messages and emails, because we're not seeing the tone and hearing where the thought process was beforehand. And so those snippets are really hard to decipher. So it's like having a deeper communication so that there's not a misunderstanding. So just notice anytime where it seems like it might be off, then stop and create the context so the miscommunication doesn't carry forward. All right. Phew. All right. Jean, hello. You had me laughing last week. All right. So your card is the potential card. So notice she's there, but there's also the child within her is there, right? So the potential is for your inner child to shine through, especially in the next week or so. So, we've been so busy being serious and adulting, right? And so the inner child has been really cranky. The inner child of the planet has been really cranky. And so the potential right now for you is, how do you bring that creative part of you out? How do you allow the magic to come forward? The wonder and the surprise and the discovery and those aha moments that happen when the inner child is engaged. And so there's a lot of potential for that magic kind of energy to come in for you, but you will need to access your inner child, or remember to have some childlike wonder when you're handling new situations. Investigate it with curiosity and see Well, just because it's always been done that way doesn't mean it has to be. So if I let my inner child loose, what would they create and how would they create it? And give yourself some space for that, because that's one of the things is that I've been noticing that the adults on the planet are needing time to play. The kids are, most of them, having a break from school, even though they're doing school work, but they're reimagining and recreating play in new ways again, in ways they haven't done in a long time. And it's time for the adults to do the same. So have fun with that. All right. Brienne, hi, dear. Nice to have you. So your card is the Revolution card. Don't we know it? So the Revolution card for you in this next week is breaking free of all the containers that other people have placed you in, and all the containers that you've placed you in. Anything that doesn't fit, that isn't really you, that isn't your favorite, break free, shatter it, let it go, and don't look back. Because, we've held ourselves into what other people wanted for us or imagined for us, and we didn't allow ourselves to imagine for ourselves in many different ways. And so these are all the people who told you needed to do things or you should do things, and the ones that you listened to and it wasn't your heart's truth, and you've had this resentment or regret, like, woo, all that. Revolt. Revolt and become a brand new Bree who's never existed before. One who is in alignment with what brings her joy and happiness. And tell anybody who isn't okay with that to take a hike. And just really learn the word no. Say no to anything that you don't want to do. Say no to anything that isn't going to bring you joy. And say yes, yes, yes to anything that makes your heart sing. All right. Go for it, Bree. All right, Lisa Crawford first. Got two Lisas in a row there. All right. So Lisa Crawford, yours is dependability. And so right now, this is talking about, I don't know whether this is a family member or a coworker or your significant other, but there's this sense right now that there's somebody who's being very dependable for you and that you're being very dependable for. And it gives us space to breathe when we don't have to do it all alone. When we're willing to let other people help us, when we're willing to help other people, there's this calmness that comes in when we feel like somebody's got our back and that we don't have to be so brave and so independent, so fierce all the time. We know we can do that at any given stretch, but having that person there for us, whoever that is, it's comforting. So just know that dependability is really helping you, helping your energy right now so that you can sustain it during a lot of this chaos. And don't be afraid to get yourself in a new routine for a little while. It doesn't have to be the same routine as always, but sometimes we have calmness when we have a rhythm, even if it's temporary. Sometimes we create a rhythm when we go on vacation, and that's nothing to do with our normal, day-to-day life, but it creates a balance. And so there's this dependability energy that's coming in for you, mostly connected to another person, but also in the rhythm of your energy right now. Okay, so acknowledge that and notice it. And the more we say thank you, the more the other person is there for us. But don't expect to be thanked, right? Just be there for somebody else. That way, when the thank yous come, they land on your heart even more. All right. Lisa Payne. Hi, dear. Yes, I've been very well. Thank you. So your card is the absence card. So right now, what I'm feeling is that there's stuff you're missing. We all are, we're missing our old normal in some ways, or we're missing seeing people or doing certain things. And so you're noticing the absence. And in that place, it's okay, right? It's okay for us to notice that and miss it. We can be filled with gratitude that when things are going a certain way, we can experience that thing that we aren't able to at the moment. It'll make it more special when we're able to have it. So it's okay to notice the absence, but be mindful of not wallowing in it. We're in circumstances that are just for now. They're not permanent. So focus on the looking forward to bringing what's missing back in the near future, right? And yeah, because otherwise the absence gets very heavy on our heart, and we get focused on the loss rather than celebrating the joy that it brought us when it was present, right? All right. I've had a lot of that too lately, so I get it. All right. Marie. Hi. Nice to see you. So your card, my dear, is the repetition card. And interesting for you, what I'm feeling for it with the repetition card is practice makes perfect. So it's like, what new skill are you trying to learn, or what new thing are you trying to create, and make it a habit? And sometimes it can be like we're trying to create a meditation practice, and you just got to keep doing it. It takes 30 days to make a habit. And so don't beat yourself up if on day 12 you miss it and you got to start again. It's not like you got to start the whole 30 days again necessarily. It's the getting into the practice of it. And we're in this new creation energy of being able to create whatever we want. So what do you want to create? And then start doing it, and practice it and do it repeatedly so that it becomes your new normal, your new rhythm, your new aspect of your life. And it can be anything that you want, but all of us, to create a habit or to get good at something that we want to get good at, we got to practice. And it just takes a lot of repetition. And that's what I keep seeing, is you're going to have to do it over and over and over again, but it's not a bad thing. It's like it gets easier and better and faster the more you do it. All right. Jules. Hello, dear. So your card is the renewal card. Very nice. So the renewal card for you is that what is old is being birthed again. So what I'm feeling for you is that something maybe that you haven't done in a while is being invited to come back in and to breathe new life into it and to maybe even do it a new way. So I don't know if that's a hobby, if it's a relationship, but it's like this, there's something old. And what I'm seeing is like the breath of the Divine Mother blowing into it, breathing it into a new life and into a new way. So it's like a new way of doing something. It's a new way of, it's a new way of doing something and a new way of being. And all of that brings in new excitement and new wonder and new fun and new creativity from all of this rebirthing energy. So I'm not sure what that applies to in particular, but it's like, I'm hearing like a marketing term, it's like you're rebranding, you're rebranding jewels, or you're rebranding, that, and it like sparks new life into it. And so that's what's coming in as this brand new life force, which is great when we're in that rhythm of spring. It's all about birthing and new creation and new relationships and fertile time. And so that energy is coming together with your creative thought process. And so know that you have that rhythm and that energy. So if there's something you've been thinking about trying differently, this is the time. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, hi, Mom. This is my mom, Cooper. And everyone else. Hi, Mom. So this is your card, Mom. It's the perception card. Nice. Third eye card. So this for you is all about really expanding and shifting your perception. And so what I'm hearing around this is really allowing your intuition and your intuitive brain to guide you a little bit. You're very good at logic thought and doing things in a logic way, but you also know that intuition plays an important part, right? So like when you play bridge, it's one thing to know how to do everything well, but it's also that intuitive hit of, is this the right thing right now, that comes in? And it's a balance of that. And the best players have the balance of both, right? Because the technicians are good at certain things, but you've got to have that shift, right? Of when is the exact right time to apply it. And so right now that's happening for you in a couple of different things. And also, things that have been the same old for a long time, maybe they're not working so well. And is there an opportunity to go, we could do this different, okay, we've always done it this way, or we've done it this way for 20 years, but that doesn't mean it's the right way for right now. It was perfect for 20 years ago, but is it right for now? So look for some openings for possibilities that could come in and allow that intuition to guide you. It's real easy for the intellect to knock it down, because the intellect can only choose options that it has ever been in contact with, that it's ever seen. It's not the one that new ideas and possibilities are created with. That's the intuitive brain. So look for those ways for your perception to shift and for new things to kind of slide in, or new possibilities to slide in. All right. Love you. All right. Adrian. Hello. So your card is the balance card. I love this for you. The yin yang kind of counterbalance energy, right? And so the balance energy is, how are you creating balance? There's so much out of sync right now. And a lot of people are noticing like your work-life balance may be out of sync. Your physical life and your spiritual life may be out of sync. And it's like, as the earth is sort of shaking underneath us and inviting us to shift, like stop doing it the same old way, right? How do we surf that? How do we find balance? We find balance by not leaning one way. You know, we lean too much into all work and no play, and we fall over. And if we lean into all play and no work, we fall over. And if we don't make room for our spirituality, we fall over. So it's, how do you find balance in a time when there's not a lot that is in balance? So you have to find it inside of you, and look for pieces that are missing, or that are, if you have resentment about something, then something's out of balance. That's what I've been noticing with clients and myself lately, is that if I'm resenting something, or if I'm hearing resentment from my clients, it's because some aspect is out of whack. So look for that too. Like if one person is doing all the work in the house and the other person is doing nothing, we get really, really resentful because it's not in balance. It's not shared. It's not yin yang. So look for the ways that the yin and the yang might be as out of whack for you, and bring it back. You know how. All right, Carol. All right. So close to my mom. That's cool. So your card is the Brilliance card. Woohoo. So the Brilliance card, what I'm sensing for you is that, you have this great joy that you share. You're somebody who's a big smiler, you're a big giver, and you're there for other people. You're a big hugger. You're very social. And so you shine your light and you help other people who aren't feeling so good find their own light, right? Because that's part of what you like to do. And so find some ways for you to shine in this next week or 2 or 3, because maybe you're not able to do it the way you're used to doing it, and so just because we can't go see people doesn't mean we can't, communicate, and we can pick up the phone the way we used to. We could send a letter or a card to somebody, like an actual one that they get in the mail. That might be exciting for people to experience, and it can bring joy, especially if it's a surprise, right? And those are ways where we can spread light. Like I'm seeing almost like a fairy wand, I'm going to put light here and light here and light here. And that allows your inner brightness, your inner brilliance to kind of radiate out there. Because when we're in a good place to shine our light, we need to shine it, because there's always other people who aren't. And when we're not in a place to shine our light, then it's okay, right? We don't have to do it when we're not feeling it, but when we are, how can we? So be brilliant and share it. Share that laugh. That's what I keep hearing. All right, Renee, hello. Nice to see you. So your card, my dear, is the Motion card. All right. So the Motion card that I'm seeing for you is that, again, it's that there's a lot going on out there. And if we focus on it's happening to me versus it's happening for me, then what kind of motion are we taking? And then what kind of motion can we connect to create new energy? And so right now you've been kind of like floating on the water, and the current is about to pick up. So you get to choose whether you're going to lean into the current and go with the flow, or whether you're going to try to just doggy paddle and stay where you are. So look for some new opportunities to kind of lean your energy in and allow it to give you some momentum. I'm seeing some new opportunities, which is interesting. So go for it. Allow that motion to carry you. And it may be in a different direction than you've done before, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. Check in with your heart and feel if it feels right to you. And if it does, lean in and go with the flow. All right, have fun. All right, Dinah, hello. So your card, my dear, is ready but waiting. This is not always my favorite card. I'll tell you that. The ready but waiting card is that feeling like we're stuck and we want change to happen and we got nothing. So just be in this place of it's okay to do nothing sometimes, and that there's nothing you have to do. There's nothing you have to prepare. You just need to be. And take this time for some self-care so that you're amping up your energy so that you'll be ready to go when it's time. But right now, it's not time. And try to be okay with that. Lots of times we get stuck in the energy of we have to be doing all the time. And the universe right now is saying, you need to learn how to be. You know how to do just fine, but you don't know how to be. And so the more uncomfortable we are in our being, the longer we're going to have to wait. And it's true for all of us. So start getting comfy in your being and do anything that you can, like I said, to amp up your energy in terms of like your self-care and, your immune system and whatever you can to kind of, make sure you're moving and drinking plenty of water, all those things that, like you're an athlete getting ready for a race. There's a lot of prep work ahead of time and you're ready, but you still got to wait for the race to come. All right. All right. Emily. Hello. So your card is surface. And they're kind of floating in the water too. So for you, what I'm seeing and sensing is that, again, we're in that kind of wait period. We're like floating on the water. You, Renee, and Dinah are just floating on the water. You're waiting for the next thing to come to the surface. And it's right there. It's just not, again, it's not quite ready. But that's okay. So you know how relaxed you are when you're just floating? That's where you need to be. You don't need to go digging under the water or diving and trying to find it. Like that's not how this energy is meant to be. It's going to come to you when it's good and ready. And the more you struggle in the water, and the more you struggle in being calm and quiet and allowing, the longer it will take to surface. It's just a similar message for a bunch of us, right? That we need to be patient, let it come to us when it's ready, and we can't hurry things up, right? All right. Christina. All right. So your card is the Fortitude card. And I just want you to notice all the animals that are in this that you can personally see. The ones that jump out at you are the ones that are important. And you know enough how to look those up. The one that jumps out is the hawk for me, but also the wolf at the top. But the Fortitude card is that you have the strength and the resilience to get through what's going on. for you and around you. And, you know, sometimes we are in these circumstances we don't want to be in. We're all in that, right? and so in that place, it's like, do we go into victim or are we victorious? And when we're victorious, we have the strength to get through it. We have the resilience, that it's not a test any longer from the universe. It just is what it is. And so just tap into that inner strength when you need it. And whatever animals jumped out for you, like I said, for me, it was the hawk and the wolf that I saw first when I was looking for you. But there are many different ones that were on there, and I would look up the totem meanings for that, because that will give you a more detailed message than just the strength. So you'll combine the strength with the animal message to give you a more complete vision of how to do what's needed. Cool. Homework. Jackie. So your card is the space card. I'm just laughing because I have one version of this card, and you've got a different. So for me, it's been like my brain and my thoughts are all over. I have that kind of spacey, swirling energy where, you know, I'm getting all this divine channeling mixing with my own thought process. And so it's been really hard to gather the energy. But what I'm seeing a little bit of that for you, but more what I'm seeing for you is that you're in a place right now where you can create some space. Space for yourself, space for your creativity, space for you to just be you. It's very similar to earlier when I was saying, you know, break free of the containers that aren't you. Shed the clothes that don't fit. And I don't really mean that literally. It's like if somebody put the jacket of, you know, you have to be a good mom, and this is the version of mom that you have to be, and that doesn't really match how you mom. Take it off and make space for you to create your own version of how you're a mom, or how you are a worker, or how you are yourself, how you are a healer, how you are an artist. It's giving yourself some like space, and it can be physical space, but almost like putting space in your time, space in your calendar, that it's like, this is me time and nobody can touch me time. That's my space. And right now I'm in my production studio, which is my office, which is my space. And I have a place where I meditate, and I have a place where I work, and I have a place where I do this, and but it's all designated space. So there's like a fluctuation of the definition of space, and each one, I'm seeing them all apply to you. So in this next week, keep the theme of space as the theme for the week, and see how that trickles down in all the different ways that it can for you. Does that make sense? All right. Christine. Hello. Yours is fragments. And the fragments card is interesting because a lot of things, our old normal has broken apart. And we're left with a lot of scattered fragments. And so this is a time where you can gather the pieces you love, and you can sweep away the old into the trash. And I'm also seeing that you have fragments of ideas that are coming in that aren't whole and aren't to fruition. But let those pieces start to come in too. So as we break apart, new pieces come in, and in the new pieces, we start to put them together like a jigsaw puzzle. But remember, don't guess at what it is yet. Just allow. So there's a sweeping away of what doesn't work so that all these new fragments can come in and create this new jigsaw puzzle of who you are and who you plan to be. And so in that energy, what I'm sensing is that, don't think of as fragments as bad, because the ones coming in are very good, and the ones that are leaving are very good because they were good at one point, but aren't right now. Okay. So there's a lot of pieces, but don't assume any one of them is whole. Because right now you don't have any whole energy. It's all pieces, parts is what I keep hearing. You have all the pieces, parts, but they're not together. Some are going and some are coming in, and just let that happen. All right. Robin, just gonna pull my sweater and everything else up. So Robin, yours is the alchemy card. I love this. Love the palm. Love all that energy. So right now, the alchemy is, alchemy is all about taking something raw and transmuting it into something valuable to us, meaningful to us. So what's in the dump, the dump pile right now, that needs to be changed and transformed. It could be how you do your job. It could be how you've managed your time and your schedule. It could be who you thought you are or thought you were. And everything's up for grabs for transformation right now, and alchemy. And again, when alchemy, it's focused intention on what we want to create and how we want to manifest it. So when we become the magnet, then we attract what we want. And this is beyond the sort of original law of attraction, the 3D version of law of attraction. This is really about creating in multi dimensions, in the fourth and fifth dimension, not just in the third. And how do you do that? It's does it match in the vibration of your heart? Does it match love energy for you? And when it does, it comes quicker and faster, and super fast, if you can really hold it steady. All right, give that a try. All right. Joanne, looks like you're next. Nice to have you, sweetie. So your card is the moderation card. I love the hummingbirds in this card. So the moderation card is that, the way I see it is like the hummingbirds only take like this little tiny bit, because that's all that they need. It's why they only need a little tiny beak, but they take all that they take what they need and they go, right? And this is how we're doing things right now, or are meant to shift. A lot of people got into a sense of lack and worry about there not being enough. And so it caused ancient hoarding energy to come in, right? And now we're in this space where we've had a little time to sit with it. And so now we're going, all things are good in moderation. And we understand that when it comes to like alcohol or food, but we maybe don't know it with things like work and computer time and, other things that just, and then there are other people who like, exercise to obsession, right? Because they don't want to sit still with themselves. So it's thinking about bringing balance into your life by moderating, bringing yourself back from anything that has been extreme for you, you know, because the extremes create stress on our energy body and our physical body. And when we have too much stress, then it weakens and compromises our immune system. So right now, we're all in a place where we want to boost our immune system. We want to be as resilient as we can. And so how do we do that? We bring our life into harmony. We bring our life into balance. We bring our heart into joy and away from fear to the best of our ability. And, you know, maybe it's moderating how much you watch the news. Maybe it's bringing more laughter in. You know, if you've been having a lot of heavy conversations, you need to balance it out with lots of laughter. And see how you can do that, because we're all being invited to create balance and harmony with each other as a planet, but mostly within ourselves, so that we aren't feeling overburdened and overstressed, that we actually feel human again. All right. Thanks for that. We needed that one. All right. Kimberly. All right, my dear. You are being called back to center. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how much have you been grounding and clearing your energy before you get up in the morning? Taking a few moments, hand on your heart, on your belly, sending yourself love and compassion, and just finding your center. And whenever you feel out of that place, taking a moment to do that. This does not take long. And if you need 30 seconds or a minute to regroup at any point in time, there's no one on the planet who can tell you differently. Till you can get back to that centered breath. And that pulls us out of fear energy. Because when we're in fear energy, we're not using all of our lungs, and we're not using our lungs, then our immune system gets compromised and we start to get sick. Notice whether you are manifesting things that you don't want because it's the one way you can get away from other things you don't want. What does Kimberly want? What does Kimberly desire? And if she could wave a magic wand and money didn't matter, what would she create? And then try to center yourself in that vision and line your energy up with that. And whatever doesn't match that, do your best to shed. Because the minute we feel anger and resentment and frustration and stress, you know this, it pulls your immune system down, and that's not what we need right now. We need you resilient and strong and centered. So find the ways for you to do that, not as if it's another thing to do on your to-do list, but even if you do this before you get out of bed, and anytime you start to feel stressed, teach your kids how to do this, right? Because even small children can do this. And it's very helpful. All right. Thank you for reminding all of us how to bring our energy back to center. All right, Jackie. So your card, my dear, is the time card. And what I'm feeling for that for you is that there are a couple facets. Number one, you've been hyper focused on time. And a lot of us have, like, all right, when is this going to end? Because I got this thing I need to do. And the more we're doing that, the more the universe is like, there's all the time in the world, and I can stretch this till you stop looking at time and stop worrying about time. So this is a realignment of how you connect with time, how you work with time. And when I see this, remember that we also have the ability to ask our spiritual team to stretch time when we need a little bit extra time. And we can also hurry things up when we don't want to invest as much time in certain things because it doesn't work for us. So see how you're allotting your time. Notice if you are spending too much time doing things you don't like, and how to shift that. And as part of that, just sort of, I'm hearing time management, but I'm not seeing it. Like for me, I'm trying to learn how to create a new schedule because everybody's home and you work from home and they assume you're home and they assume you're working and then you don't get a break, right? And nobody can work 24/7. So for me, it's a realignment of my personal time and letting myself have that, granting myself permission for that. But I'm seeing a similar thing, but not quite the same. Like maybe you aren't making time for certain things, but you're making too much time for other things. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, that's the best way I can perceive it. It's like you're giving away time to things you don't enjoy and not giving time to things that you really love. And you need to shift that and refocus on that. All right. Phew. All right, Sandy. All right, your card, my dear, is the Unity card. Isn't this perfect? She's hugging the earth, and don't we need this right now? So for you, the energy right now is, how do you tap into the unity consciousness, the collective, without being swamped with the negative fear collective? So as an empath, we connect to unity consciousness on the planet, and if we're connected to only the planet, then we get swooshed with fear energy right now, right? But if we're connected to the unity consciousness of the collective whole, of all that is, beyond our cute little tiny planet, right? Because on this, the planet's only this much. The unity is all out here, right? So when we connect to all that is, all of these fearful things that are happening are just a small blip in the cosmos, right? And so right now you're being invited to connect to that. And in the channeling energy, we can connect to that. When we ask for the highest, fullest, brightest spiritual team in each frequency, dimension, and vibration, we expand beyond the earth realm. And when you can connect to that, you feel unity within you. You feel the connectedness to all that is, and you feel the connectedness to humanity, but you don't feel yanked around by them. You're not being victimized by what others are experiencing. You're in an empathic, compassionate place for all that is, and you're just in this space where you can hold love and you can share love and not be depleted. That's the big one. So notice how you're connecting to that, and notice when you're getting depleted, and call in a fuller, higher vibration than maybe you've asked for before. All right. Mike. Hello. I am staying well. Thank you for asking. So your card is the productivity card. I'm like, who's being productive? So in this next week, look for ways that you can be productive. And this does not mean that it has to be work related. It just means so that you feel like you accomplished things. Because again, we're out of our normal rhythm, and we can beat ourselves up for all the things we didn't get done, but then we don't acknowledge and applaud and pat ourselves on the back for what we do get done. So maybe it's even going back to a traditional to-do list, and you can write everything down that you want to, but you only celebrate the things that you cross off, right? Like today I crossed off 3 things. Yay! I get a little red star on my calendar. And today I crossed off 6 things. Yay! And I get a blue star, whatever it is. But it's allowing yourself to see the progress rather than focusing on what feels like it's not progress. Because you are moving forward. It's an illusion that we're not, because there's so much stuck energy, sort of staying still in certain things, but a lot is moving. And so it's like, applaud what you actually are getting done and create that's a big thing. If you got dressed today, terrific. If you didn't, but you got out of bed and you did something, great. That's still being productive. It's when we negative self-talk ourselves and, oh, I should have done this and I should have done that. And ugh. Anytime should comes in, push it to the side and do things that help keep you busy, but try to do as many things that bring you joy, because then you're going to want to do more joyful things. All right. Martina. So your card is the Heat card. Now the Heat card can have passion in it. It can have desire. It's the solar plexus flaring up. So in that heat, what are you going to cook? And so just know that, it is a time, like it really is what's going to cook. And so what are you going to stick in the pots to cook? Are you going to put some new ideas in there? Are you going to put some self-care in there? It's like, what are you going to put in your pot? And if we put fear in our pot and we put anger in our pot and then we add heat to it, all we're doing is creating more fear and more anger, right? Or more stress or more sadness. So what do you want to cook? What do you want to create? And put it in, and think of putting it on, whether you're going to let things, simmer and percolate. Are you going to turn up the heat and really go for it? Because heat can be passion and putting our desire and our oomph behind it. And if you have that kind of get up and go right now, do it, because there's a lot of planetary movement going on. Most people don't. So if you don't, just think about, really good food sometimes is, I love doing a slow cooker, right? It's still super yummy, but it took no effort. I just turned a little heat up and let it go, right? You didn't watch over it, just let it simmer. So What are you going to apply your creativity, your passion, your desire to? What are you going to turn the heat up on? And what are you going to bring into what you're going to cook? Let us know, because that'll be fun. All right. Let's see. Cindy Lynn. So your card, my dear, is consistency. So right now, it's all about you finding some rhythm. You know, for some people, it's like you need a rhythm. When we're out of rhythm, we're all over the place. We're lost. We can't get anything done, and we're overwhelmed and stressed, right? And so, and people who have, who have autistic children or have, ADHD or anything like that, a lot of things that bring calm to that energy is consistent rhythm, eating at a particular time, getting up in the morning at this time, eating breakfast, eating lunch or snack. And it's like you need a very consistent schedule, because that is how they are able to create their own rhythm. And that's true for a lot of us as well. And so you want to create consistency with the things that you want to have happen in your life, whether it's, eating at a particular time, getting up or going to bed at a particular time. If you want to be consistent about spending 10 minutes meditating every day, then make that a habit. It's create habits out of the things that bring you joy and help you feel centered and balanced, and let go of the things that don't. And, sometimes being in this new environment, we don't have a consistent schedule, and that's difficult for everyone. And if you have school-age children who are home, everybody's out of their rhythm. And maybe it means, you set alarms on the phones or something, that it's like the school bell. Okay, here's the bell this is the bell for this period. We're going to do reading right now, and here's the bell. And when the bell goes off, we're going to get up. Everybody's going to dance for 5 minutes. And then we're going to do math for, till the next bell, whatever it is. But try to create some of that consistent energy, and it will help everyone. Especially when you have a bunch of empaths in the room. We need boundaries, right? And time and schedule helps create those. All right. Jacqueline. Hi, dear. So your card is the patterns card. So what I'm hearing and sensing for you is that right now, start noticing patterns around you. And what I feel for that is like patterns of behavior, patterns of, if we have a significant other, we often fight over similar things. And there's this lead up, and then it has this inevitable pattern that we're going to get into it here. And it's like, all right, but I don't like this pattern, so I'm not going to do this, my piece of this. I'm going to pull that out and see if I can switch it. So if we have patterns of behavior that we're not fond of, we can change it. We just consciously have to be aware of it and then go, yeah, that doesn't usually work, so I'm going to try something new. And it can be often in interactions with other people, but we can also have patterns that we do that we're not fond of. And notice the ones that you do like. You try something new and you're like, oh, I really like that. I want to do that again. And it's very similar to creating a consistent schedule, but with patterns, it's the thoughts and beliefs, and that we make assumptions based on our old experiences, and maybe that's not true anymore. And just notice if we jump to the conclusion sometimes that maybe that's not true any longer. And maybe we're holding on to energy from a long time ago that isn't relevant any longer. And notice that pattern. And when we're aware of it, we can choose to create something different. We can choose to change it. So there's a lot of awakening of awareness. And for you, it's to start looking for the patterns and seeing it. And on top of that, just remember that patterns are the way that our team communicates with us. So be looking for patterns and numbers as well, because they like to play with those. All right. Kimberly, hello. Thank you, sweetie. So yours is the listen card. So the listen card that I'm getting for you is we all have the ability to hear, right? Well, maybe not if you can't hear, but when people are talking, how are you listening? Are you listening to hear and feel and embody what they're saying, or are you waiting for the next opportunity for you to talk? And so when we learn to listen, then we are able to not only hear what is being said, but we can then say it back to the other person and say, this is what I think you said, or this is how I interpreted what you said. And we can speak it back to them, and we can get clarity on whether we are hearing completely what they are meaning to say. And it takes an opportunity of being quiet for us to be able to really listen. And this is also a time for us to be quiet and listen to our spiritual team. It's a time for us to listen to our own soul and what it's trying to say. And all of those take quiet. And it releases our need to speak. It's almost like take a couple days of not speaking and see what happens when you're just caught in the hearing. And does that shift things, And so it's taking your listening to a deeper level of other people, but really of your team and internally as well. And listening to can come through automatic writing. When you ask a question, what does my soul want to say? And then you let your soul speak to you through the pen. It can be quite helpful. All right, Andrew, you made it. Nice to have you. So your card is the Alliance card. So the Alliance card for you is who are you teaming up with in human form and with your spiritual teams? Who are your allies? Who has your back? Who do you have the back of? And in that energy, like there's new alliance that wants to come together. There's a new teamwork that wants to come together. And when we have a new alliance of energy that comes together, there's usually a burst of creation that happens, a collaboration. And that can, really spark creativity for who you're coming together with or how you're coming together. So, I'm seeing almost a gathering of three, and the coming together and the brainstorming and the creating new possibilities and new things, and how that ends up supporting each other and the whole, and that will bring you a lot of benefit and a lot of calm and joy. So look for that alliance energy, that coming together, because it's a new collaboration. Even if it's people you've dealt with in the past who've behaved a certain way in the past, that does not mean it's true now. It's all new energy. It's all new collaboration. Release any old assumptions because they're not valid any longer. All right, Alyssa. Hi, dear. So your card is the core card. That's almost the same hand movement that I gave Kimberly earlier. So the core is, you know, hand on your heart, hand on your belly. Really feeling, releasing any deep breath, feeling where your energy is at its center. The core of your being, the core of your spirit. And when we're anxious, nervous, or carrying other people's energy, then we are stretched forward and kind of we're out of our center. We're not very grounded, and we get batted around a lot energetically because we're taking in so much information. So you want to be in the center. You want to be in your heart line, and the hand over the heart, the hand over the belly, and taking a few deep breaths really returns our energy home. This is calling your spirit home. It's calling your inner child home. It's calling all aspects of you to come back into balance and be in your body in the way it's meant to be. And this is a great way. Some people do this to fall asleep. It's a great way to do before you get out of bed in the morning so that you center yourself in your fullness before you even take action. And anytime you feel pulled out of yourself, pulled into stress, pulled into fear, any of that, it's a way to call yourself home quickly. It only takes about 30 seconds or less. The more you do it, the more your energy body knows what to do and how quickly to do it. And I usually wait until I have a breath that wants to release, because then it goes like that big sigh. And we see animals do that, right? They'll just all of a sudden let out a big sigh, and you know they've released the weight of the world off of them, and they're back to themselves. That's what we want to do as well. That's about being in your core and calling your energy back to its core. All right. Tina. Oh, I have time. No worries. I'm going to get to you. So here we are. You got in under the wire. So your card, my dear, is the expectation card. Isn't that interesting, right? So the expectation card is, you know, you're looking to the future. Your energy is looking to the future and what could be and what will be. And you're in this place where you're waiting, but it's kind of like waiting for Christmas to come, right? You know, there's that nervousness and that anxiety and, ooh, you know, you don't really know what's coming, but maybe, but you know, it's a gift. And so there's that energy that's going on for you right now. So let yourself sit with that. Let yourself be with that. It doesn't have to be bad. When we're in that, you know, that antsy energy doesn't have to be bad. We can just honor it and go, okay, yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to what's coming. And so I'm going to use some of this excitement energy to do this. And you can use that energy in a different way. But you're in an expectation mode, which means it's not coming yet. It's not coming this week. It's not coming for a couple weeks. So you're just going to have to wait it out. But this isn't about patience. It's about allowing yourself to be excited about the new possibilities and the change. And it's all good. And it's okay to be like, yay, it's coming. Okay. Because your inner child just wants permission to be excited. All right. Give her some room. All right. Bobby. Hi, Roberta. I'm glad you got here for a card. You can do the meditation after, no worries. So your card is the revision card. So right now you're in this process of rewriting your story. So imagine your story got written and, it's gone to the editor, but you're the editor and you're looking things over and you're like, let's change this part here and let's put a new ending over there. And I'd like a little more detail here. And this feels a little heavy. So can we lighten it up? You're the author of your own story. You're the editor, you're the creator, you're the publisher. So you can make all the changes that you want. So give yourself permission to do a revision. We're all doing it in our own way. But this is a very active way of you going, I'm not doing this anymore because it doesn't work for me. It doesn't bring me joy. It exhausts me and I'm just not doing it. So I'm writing that out of my story. Those pages go in the circular file, right? And these things, we touched on this a little bit and I love this, so I want more of that. So start revising your story. And if you don't have, I have an oil blend called Release Your Story. If you don't have that, you might want it. It helps you cut out the parts that are of your story that don't fit you anymore. It's kind of a fun one. It helps with cord cutting. And that may be something special for you. So just keep it out there. All right, Deborah, you made it. You made it. So your card is the formation card. And the formation card is just saying that right now things are coming together. Ideas are coming in, things are formulating. It's still very nebulous. You're still in the formation stage. It's not a time for you to take action. It's a time for you to kind of get clarity, bring things closer, see what's coming together. Don't make any judgments. Don't rush into anything. Let's see what's coming. And allow it to be as nebulous as it needs to be. Be as patient as you can, as heart-centered as you can, as this new energy's coming and formulating for you. And it's very, nebulous is the best way. It's like, it's really in the outer reaches and coming to you. So it's not like you could turn the lens and see it more clearly, like at the eye doctors. It's like it's not even all in the room yet. So let it come in, let it percolate. If you have, sparks of intuition or inspiration, just jot things down, even if you put them on sticky notes and put all the sticky notes in one place, and know that an idea or a plan is coming together, but it's nowhere near being complete. So don't stick any pen to paper in terms of, making a decision. Just start to gather what's formulating and put it in a container of some sort so that it's there. But just give it some time. It's got some time to cook. All right. And Cindy. Okay. Your card, Cindy, is the reaction card. This is a big one for all of us right now. So the reaction card is to notice when we're stressed, when we're anxious, when we're caught in other people's energy. It's so easy to react to what's happening around us. It's a knee-jerk reaction, and we're not as conscious of what we're doing when we're reacting. So in those spaces where you want to jump, you want to jump in and say something, it's like, wait, take a moment to breathe and then choose how I'm going to respond. Does that make sense? It's like, there's taking action from a conscious, aware place, and there's reacting from a primitive, old energy. When we react, it's old energy projecting us in the moment. When we take action, we are taking the situation and we're formulating what we want to do. So there's a lot more control when we take action than when we react. And just being mindful of notice which people push your buttons. And those are the places where you take a deep breath and see if you can just, even if you take a deep breath before you react, it's going to shift your reaction slightly. And the more you can do that and practice it, the more space you get and the more room you have to create your own reality rather than reacting to someone else's. All right. And Neshi. Yay, I get to do a card for you finally. So your card is the connection card. Aw. So in this card this next week, there's multiple layers of connection for you. So first there is your connection to your soul and your spirit. And that's been solid. That's been very much part of what you do. And then connecting to your spiritual team and bringing that in. And then connecting to Star Nations as a community and creating a sense of connection for all those other people. And so you've talked about the interconnectedness of all that is for a long time. And now it's helping other people who are waking up to see the connection. So part of your job in this next week is to show people their connections to each other and to all that is. And so it may be almost like networking, like, oh, you ought to get together with so-and-so and you, because you may be the connector in parts of this. And that helps facilitate the sense of interconnectedness when we feel how connected we are with each other. Very cool. So that was our last card. I know we ran a little long. And Cooper, your card, the efficiency card. I know you're a student working from home, so you got to work on how are you being efficient with your time? Maybe scheduling a specific time for doing work and classes and fun. Because otherwise it'll get exhausting and resentful and really bringing balance into it. And so that way you can be efficient, maybe using that alarm clock thing. Okay, this is when I'm going to do this so that it doesn't seem so never ending. And with that, you guys have, a great rest of your week. I'll be here tomorrow on chakra sessions. To help you with some spiritual teachings and another meditation, because that's what we can all use right now is to make a little bit of sense out of what's going on inside us and around us. And thank you for being here and helping me with my spiritual mission of healing the healers so that you can get out there and shine your light. And have a great one. Mwah. See you guys next time.